advice, but it's just for public sensitization. Please contact your lawyer for legal advice on every circumstance. Thank you. Thank you for watching and welcome to another edition of our program. In today's edition, we are going to look at what to do when arrested by any law enforcement agent. What you should do as a person when accosted or when any law enforcement agent approached you for an arrest. What do the tips that you ought to do when any of them approached you? When you are accosted or approached by any law enforcement agent, like in Nigeria, the law enforcement agent that we have in Nigeria are one, the police, the ICPC, that is Independent Corrupt Practice Commission, NDLA, EFCC, and DSS. You are expected to be guided by the following tips. Now, though the people that are so paramount, that are so notorious in accosting or arresting the people are the police, and you have to be so conscious with how you deal with them when you are approached for the arrest. And the following has been highlighted as the tips to follow. One of the tips is that you should not attempt to resist or refuse the arrest. When you are approached by any law enforcement agent for an arrest, one, do not attempt to resist or do not attempt to refuse the arrest. Then secondly, politely, not with aggression, politely ask for the reason why the arresting officer come for the arrest. You should ask this question politely. Then thirdly, in case the arresting officer is not in uniform, ask the arresting officer politely to identify himself, so that you should know whether the arresting person is a security agent. And if the arrest is not at the scene of crime, remember, if the arrest is not at the scene of crime, that is, if the arrest is not at the time of the arrest, you are not committing the crime, politely ask for an arrest warrant. Politely ask for an arrest warrant. But if you are not shown with the arrest warrant, don't argue about it. Do not argue about it that, okay, no, you must show me your warrant arrest before I should be arrested and another thing. No. What you should do is your responsibility to ask for the warrant arrest. And if the warrant arrest is not shown to you, do not argue about it. Now, ask the arresting officer the station or command he is taking you to. Ask the arresting officer the command or the station he is taking you to. Then, after he has informed you of the command or station that is taking you to, demand to contact your family, your friends, your well-wishers, and most importantly, your lawyer. And you should inform them that you have been what? You have been arrested. And you also should tell them the command or the station that you were informed that they are taking you to. Now, when you ask, then when you get to the station, definitely the arresting officer first will demand you to make a statement. When you are asked to make a statement, inform the arresting officer that you would want your lawyer to be present before you make the statement. Because anything you tell the police officer or the security agency can be used against you, and it could land you in prison. So at this point, you should be able to tell the arresting officer that you are not going to make any statement until you have contacted the lawyer of your choice. It is not by contacting a lawyer, not that the police officers should produce a lawyer for you. No, it is the lawyer of your own choice or your own lawyer. Now, another thing that you should be guided about it is that if you will make a statement, it's advisable you write the statement yourself. if you are to write a statement, write the statement yourself and sign. Don't take dictation from any police officer. Don't allow the police officer to dictate to you what you should write, because the police officer is interested on what he will use against you. He is not interested in your defense. He is not interested on what will make you to be free. So therefore, you should not make or should not take any dictation from the police officer, because whatever you say or write will be used against you in the court of law. Now, my honest advice is that don't allow or permit a police officer to write your statement for you. I repeat, don't allow any police officer to write your statement for you. It will be safe someone else write for you under the watch of your lawyer, or let your lawyer be the one that will write your statement. Now, another tip that we should look at when you are accosted or arrested is that as soon as you arrive at the police station or at the office of the arrested officer, you should demand for a copy of the petition or a copy of the complaint against you. Then let the content of the petition be read to you in the language that you understand. Be guided about this. Let the content of the petition be read to you in the language that you understand. Do not be so smart. Do not be thinking that you are intelligent or you are educated. The content of a petition, the language used by a petitioner, might not be the language you understand. If a petition is written by a lawyer to the arresting officer, you should not be so furious to answer to the petition, because the content is creatively drafted by an expert. There might be a language that the lawyer used that you will not understand in the content of the petition. So you should allow an expert or your lawyer to read the content of the petition to you in the language that you understand. If you understand Hausa or Yoruba and the petition is written in English language, it is the duty of the arresting officer to look for someone who understands Yoruba, and the content will be read to you and be interpreted in the language of Yoruba which you understand. Now, another advice to you is that, one, don't form familiarity with any police officer in that station. Don't form familiarity that, oh, if I speak to this police officer, they should be able to release you. No, all of them, they work together. So therefore, you should not form any familiarity with them, because they are looking for any incriminating words or evidence to use against you. They might send somebody to you as a spy, that, okay, let me just speak with him to be able to speak out. On that note, don't form in the familiarity. Even if that person there is your friend that you know from your home, don't say anything to him except to your lawyer alone, because it is your lawyer that knows what to say and what not to say. Because if the matter proceeded from the station to the court, it is still your lawyer that knows what he will use, the instrumentality of your defense. So therefore, don't form familiarity. Don't form familiarity with any security agents at the time of your arrest. Now, another tip during the arrest, if you are arrested by any security agency, is that do not engage the security agent in a heated argument. Don't argue with them at the point of arrest. Don't argue. So whatever they say, you should just be guided, be politely with them. Don't argue with them. When you need an argument, when you need an argument, it's at the point of defense, when you are in court. So you shouldn't engage an arresting officer in a heated argument or on any argument alone. Then another tip that you should do at the point of arrest is that try and memorize the officer's name, the officer that come for an arrest. Try and memorize his name. Their name is always written at the side of their shirts. So try to memorize the officer's name. Then again, try to memorize the badge number. The badge number also is located at the front face of it. Then, if they come with their patrol van, try and memorize the vehicle number. Try and memorize the vehicle number. And this also will help you at the time of communicating to your well-wisher or your friends or your lawyer that you have been arrested, to inform them that these are the details of the arresting officer: his name, the badge number, the patrol vehicle, if need be. Try and memorize those things and disclose those things to your well-wishers, your families, or your lawyer. Then, if the arresting officer maltreats you, this is very important. If the arresting officer maltreats you or inflicts any wound or injury on you, take a photograph of it or request to be treated in a government hospital. Now, if they inflicted any injury on you, what you need to do is that, one, you should take a photograph of that injury. That's just one. Then secondly, you should demand that you should be treated in the government or hospital. Reason being this: before you could tender any medical certificate or any medical document in a court, before such document is admissible in evidence, it must be document that is emanated from the government hospital, not from a private hospital. So therefore, you should demand that you should be treated in a government hospital. And at the point of treatment, try and take the contact of the medical officer who attends to you. This is very important because when the matter proceeded, the medical officer could be called or invited by the court to give evidence in your favor. Now, for the last advice in respect to this video is not a legal advice, but it's intended to provide a general guide to the general public. So therefore, please contact your lawyer for legal advice. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate your audience, and we also advise that you should keep on watching our subsequent edition, as we are going to be giving you the general guide with respect to whatever that is of your interest as a human. Keep on connected.